Today, 1/2, 2025. It's finally warmed up. Yesterday was in the 50s. Today was almost 90. It's still pretty warm. It was almost 10 o'clock at night. It's still 73. It's a little humid. It's sticky. I'm kind of sweating. I've been vacuuming the house and cleaning up. But I'm happy with it. It feels great. Which sounds bizarre to say, but after this freezing cold spring, this is a nice change in pace. I think we've had maybe 3 or 5 days in the 70s so far this year. It's been unseasonably cold through June here, and much of May was pretty chilly as well, which is really a bummer because our summer is pretty short here. And June, July, and August are really the only warm months that we typically have, and we're already almost halfway through June, and there hasn't been much heat. And unfortunately, this is not going to last. It's forecasted to be back in the 50s and 60s over the weekend. But I'm using the fans while I can. I'll show some shots from earlier today. I just did a quick walkthrough in the daylight. I didn't want to spend a lot of time filming because I wanted to enjoy time outside, because I haven't really been able to enjoy the yard much yet this year. Okay, we're back. It's now nightfall. This Holmes twin window fan is running. Very noisy machine. These are very nostalgic to me. At the old, no, not the old location, the first house we lived in, the windows were kind of small like this, and so these are the only fans that would fit in the windows. And I remember using this one and a purple, I think it was the HAWF 2021, in the windows all the time. So even though these aren't super effective and they really make kind of a jarring sound, they are very nostalgic. I gotta try to move this into the living room, I think. This is such a nice fan. This is nice too, but there's nothing like an economy product. This is one of the few box fans that are pretty decent still that fit in this window. This one's very thin and the cabinet's very small, so it kind of works. Unfortunately, we have to have all these wires here holding it in place, but it is what it is. It's better than having the fans potentially fall out and break. I think I've used the air conditioner twice this year, and it was only for humidity control. Okay, there we go, now it's clear. This is a, I think somebody said this is a Codep. It did come with cane blades, but unfortunately somebody ruined the cane side of the blade, so we have to use the, well, I don't have to, but it looks nicer with the plain ones because the plain side's not ruined. And then of course we have the infamous Lasco, the 3733, blasting 8,000 cubic feet of air per second through the window. These kind of fit in the window pretty good too, but they're not as good as that Lakewood one. Haven't really gotten to use this yet. I put this in just for that one day that was super humid. I haven't used it since. I typically only use the air conditioners a handful of times a year anyways, and it's usually just for the humidity. This is such a nice fan too, but it's time to swap this one out and use something else. I got so many I want to put in here. These temperature control ones are nice for this time of year when it gets really cold out. And this thing is still going. It's really getting pretty filthy. It hardly moves any air at this point. It still runs. And this just runs pretty much all the time here in the bedroom window, and it just keeps working. All I do is blow the motor out with compressed air and it just keeps going. Probably be using this later tonight when I go to sleep. Nice quiet fan. This is another very nostalgic fan. There used to be one of these in my parents' bedroom at the first house we lived in. And it is in fact called the Hampton Bay Fan and Lighting Company. And then we've got a Holmes, also temperature controlled, set to around like 72 degrees, I think, I hope. And then we have this Bay Breeze, which I was using here at the computer earlier today, but then I was not working at the computer anymore, so I turned it off. I did notice that it seemed like the motor housing was getting kind of warm during operation. I noticed that this one has vents in it on the top, and actually quite a bit more venting than these SMC or Midea or whatever the heck it is fans usually have. So I thought that was kind of interesting. This is the first time I've really used this at any length. Works great though, it's very powerful. For a 2000s era or late 90s era product, these really were pretty decent. And speaking of these, I forgot something I wanted to show in the kitchen, which was this. This is a Fian that I picked up in the late 2010s, and this is one of those ones I remember finding, and I just really enjoyed the process of finding it and cleaning it up and using it. I found this in the trash near where I used to work. Don't work there anymore, the dodgy, flaky area. Don't think I'd ever work there again. But anyways, I found this. It was like haphazardly thrown face down on the sidewalk, and kind of surprising because someone painted it at some point. It's in pretty decent condition, and I don't recall there being anything wrong with it. At least I don't think so. But it was out for the trash, and I grabbed it, and I remember cleaning it up and using it in the bedroom at the old location, and I remember thinking about how I'd use it at my own house someday, and here we are. Nothing really, anything particularly special about it. I just like these 2000s era SMC Midea fans, and it was like an unexpected pleasant surprise. You know, it's one thing if you go to the thrift store, you go to a tag sale and find something, but to just randomly find something out of nowhere is always kind of cool. And plus I really like the concept of this is something that was to be discarded, and now here it is back in service for probably decades to come. See, this one has a lot less venting than the other one does, compared to the Bay Breeze. This one is a Lake Breeze branded, and ironically, the last year, no, two years ago, last summer, I actually found another one of these with the badge not painted, which is kind of cool. So now I have two of these, one of which is this one, and the other which is still properly branded Lake Breeze. And then this summer I found the pedestal version, 16 inches, so I wonder how many there were. I wonder if there is a 16-inch tabletop fan as well, and a 12-inch pedestal. In the studio, we're using I think it's a Crown branded Crown Air, Airy, whatever it is. Oh boy. A Crown Airy box fan. This is an odd one. It's got 7 blades. It's very questionable aerodynamically. The guard is super dense. I didn't think it was very good when I first tested it, but then I'm using it here in the window, and I'm kind of taking back that opinion. I feel like it's moving a pretty good volume of air through the window. There is decent pull from the outside, and I can actually feel the air pushing up the stairwell. It doesn't push the air very far, even just, you know, 1.5 meters almost the majority of the airflow is already dissipated. But if I get up close to it, it is pushing a decent amount of air. So I guess this is one of those ones that has a pretty good volume, but aerodynamics are not correct such that it doesn't travel very well. And then on the contrary, we have one of these here, a Honeywell 18-inch turbo force, or 16, whatever it is. And this really pushes the air quite far. This is an excellent fan. I used this over Christmas time in the living room, and I was pretty impressed with it during that time. And now I'm using it again here, and I'm continuing to be impressed by the performance. It pushes a lot of air for not too much noise. I have a second one of these. The motor, I think, is riveted shut, and it needs to be oiled. And I think the guard needs to be cleaned up or something. There was some reason why I kind of put the project on hold, but now that I know I really like the fan, I think I'm going to revisit that, along with other 500 projects that I have not followed through with yet. I got that in here, and then, yeah, like if I stand here in the stairwell, I can feel the air pushing up the stairs. So that fan is moving a decent volume. And then here, I was doing some cleaning up in here. Probably doesn't look like it, but I was. It's a little better than I was. I was using this, and I was tacking up that wire there for the kitchen. Got all the new wire put up there. I was using this Doracraft. This is another nostalgic fan. This was in a classroom in elementary school. And I remember it seeming like it stunk. Now I don't feel like it stinks. I wonder if it was just dirty. I probably didn't know at the time that, you know, dirt really inhibits the performance of the fan. I mean, it's not the strongest oscillating fan I've used. I think that those SMC ones upstairs, the Bay Breeze and Lake Breeze, blow this out of the water. Haha. But this is respectable. And then I also had this one on, which has been sitting up there for a long time, and figured why not use it. It actually works pretty good. Usually these lock up, but the bearings are free. I guess I must have done a clean and service on this one, because it's pretty much spotless and running great. It's time to put on the dehumidifiers, though. It's getting a little damp down here. Actually, it's very damp. But the temperature is up there. It should dry out quickly. Here in the living room, we're using a Lasko Weather Shield Select, which is probably one of the best box fans made in the last 15 years. It's a shame it was only made for such a short period of time. It has a very smooth airflow. I feel like this probably moves a decent volume of air. It doesn't have the highest velocity as some of the other ones do, but it definitely has a good volume. And this one is temperature control also, which is handy this time of year. That is a Galaxy Recall 4733. Excellent fan. Very, very powerful. Very strong velocity. With sodium backlight. And then lastly we have a P23 going here in the front. Let's put the light on. We'll get another shot of everything with the light on. No, it doesn't really make much difference. I'll put the other lights on. Okay, I've lived here how many years and still can't get it right? I think I can feel the most air from this one from a distance. This one is very good aerodynamically. I think that circular guard makes a big difference. Yeah, this is very powerful. Okay, let's get some shots from the outside. Hopefully I don't get sprayed by a skunk in the process. Suppose that's always an option. I might as well put on the ceiling fan though. Put it on high. Yeah, this is drawing in a lot of air. This definitely has a very high volume to it. Surprising for something made recently, although this is almost 10 years old now. I think I bought these in 2017. Yeah, I think that's about right. 2017, 2018 maybe. Honestly, 2017 probably. Finally, a nice warm night. Be able to enjoy the deck tonight. I'll only use the deck, I don't know, 2 or 3 times this year. Definitely going to use it tonight. My new lights here. Freshly cut grass. The yard's been ready for a month, it's just been too cold. This thing is really out of balance. Kind of looks like a GE if you can't see it too well. I gotta get this balanced. Yeah, I can feel a lot of air going in there. Definitely a good high volume air mover.
Okay, put the ceiling fan on. Dang it. Oh, there it is off.
Finally hearing some frog. That's kind of a weird effect. Here's the new landscape lights I just put out. Very nice. There's the bay breeze. That stinking window is so blurry. Is there gonna be a skunk over here? I don't see one. Oh, come on. Good. Unreal. Classic though. It doesn't feel that humid out here at all. I wouldn't put it much above 50. Maybe 60. That meter was saying 75 or almost 80. That crown air is pretty loud. I can hear it all the way over here. And then lastly, tonight, I will use this out here on the deck. Ooh, Aerospeed. And this just kind of plugs in here like this. This has a cool startup sound, I'll give it that much, but that's about it. Yeah, it's just enough air on a warm night here by the table. Alright, that's it for this one. Really the first day of using a lot of fans. And I enjoyed it very much. I'm glad we had a little bit of warmth, even if it's just for a couple days.